All right. Ooh. Just kidding. It turned my mic on for me. All right, how's that for everyone? Good. So welcome to the Main Street Neighborhood Meeting. We are here tonight to be able to share information about the construction project that has recently started and answer any questions that may be out there. So I am going to keep advancing the slides. On this slide here, we have the survey that we have for the public to be able to take. It's a quick survey, lets us know a little bit of information about how you use Main Street and how we can keep the information working to reach your doorstep so that you can continue to use Main Street in our downtown. So here tonight and working on the project team from the City of Burlington, we have the Department of Public Works, myself, Laura Wheelock. We also have Chapin Spencer, our director, in the room. Other project managers on the project, Olivia Doris, Madeline Sender, and Martin Lee from our Water Resources Department. Our design team for the project is through VHB with the help of Agency Landscaping as their sub and Dufresne Group for water sewer design. Out in the street, you're going to see folks from EIV Technical Services. They are the city's inspection firm, as well as our public outreach consultant. They will be available either on the street or via email or phone and can answer any questions or concerns that there are about the project. And
recording in progress.
We also have SD Ireland, who is our contractor to be constructing the Main Street project. They are here today to answer questions that anyone may have. So the project recap, when we've last talked to the public at large, we had a project that stretched from Battery Street through South Union. And through bidding and funding, we have narrowed that scope to focus on just the core of the project, as well as our ravine sewer bypass reconstruction. So the project is from Pine Street through South Winooski for substantial street reconstruction upgrades, as well as the red line that you can see in the image, and that is the new ravine sewer that's to be constructed. So why great streets and what we're going to do? So in this image, you can see there's a same image of before and after of St. Paul Street, the larger image being the after. This gives a general look and feel of what a great street means to Burlington. And in the upper right-hand corner is a rendering of Main Street. And really the substantial difference between St. Paul Street and Main Street is that there is a bike facility that goes into a protected pedestrian area at the sidewalk grade. And just to share a little bit of work that we've been doing to date, work started to construct on the ravine sewer bypass. The ravine sewer, for those who are familiar or unfamiliar with this piece of infrastructure in the city, is a very deep sewer that was constructed, that cross-cuts the city, constructed in the 1860s, 1870s timeframe. To be able to replace and bypass this structure requires some pretty significant earthwork, and here in these images is just some of those first structures being set and work 25 feet inside of Main Street. So what does construction on Main Street mean for people who use Main Street and the downtown? As it relates to access impacts, the contractor is required to maintain access to all building entrances and stores and doors and frontages. This may look untypical at times, but at least one side of the sidewalk can generally open, or a pedestrian way will be open to reach these. If there's questions about how to get someplace and you know ahead of time, please reach out to our outreach person, Natalie Boyle with EIV. Her contact information will be shared near the end of this presentation. If you're coming in by vehicle, we're working really hard to make available detour route maps and other information about on-street parking that is either limited or available. And we are also working on parking loss mitigation strategies by adding parking in kind of areas of the city where we've not traditionally had it, as well as working on a partnership with a private parking partner to be able to bring more parking at the city's garage rate to this area. So the website parkburlington.com is really a key resource both with this project as well as anyone looking to park in the downtown. What do these detour maps look like? This is the one that marks out the route for the current road closure that's out on Main Street. It indicates the path around and the area of the work. It is really helpful that technology has caught up with our detour routes and that these routes and these detours and road closures start showing up on Apple Maps as well as Google Maps pretty soon after they're implemented. And so if you're using one of those tools to get to where you need to go, they're going to be able to detour you around similar to what this map does. And I'm going to let Martin talk about some of the utility impacts in our water resources work.
Great. Thanks, Laura. So starting off, it looks like we're jumping in. I'll talk about scope on the next slide. For this one, I'm talking about water impacts. We're going to have multiple planned water impacts on this project, but we are going to be able to limit them as well because there's going to be temporary water. The contractor will be working closely with the city, and approximately a month before we're going to move to a certain area and we know that there's going to be planned impacts, we're going to then start coordinating together, and we will be able to come up with a plan so that approximately 2 weeks before the actual interruption we can get a general notice out to folks that will be impacted. And then as we get closer to the impact, 2 to 3 business days beforehand, we can provide more details about the actual water interruption. And we do have some experience over the last couple weeks doing this already. And this busy downtown area, we also have experience in December and last May. So I think we're getting a good handle on how to hopefully get the word out well in this downtown core area. So I think that covered, also, just so you know, so the water impact, it will be disrupting water, and afterwards, I just want to be clear, once the water's repressurized, there may be some rust or sediment that's in the line, and that can be normal, and you just need to flush cold water for up to 5 minutes, and that should clear up. And if there's ever any concerns, you can reach out to Natalie or our Water Resources customer care team. So here's a little bit about the scope of Water Resources work on the project. This work is going to be more at the forefront of the project because it's the deep infrastructure. We have water mains and water services that will be replaced along Main Street within the project corridor. So from Pine Street up to a point that's east of South Winooski. The ravine sewer that Laura already talked about, that's very deep excavation work, up to 30 feet in some locations, and we already see that out there. And that's going to be all the way from behind the fire department and then making its path down to the Maple Street and Church Street intersection. There will also be sewer mains and services replaced along Main Street between Pine Street and South Union Street. The stormwater improvements on this project include some separate stormwater piping as well as stormwater storage tanks to help attenuate the stormwater.
Great. So as Martin indicated, some of the upfront work that's going to happen is really the deeper utilities and the things that are below ground. Some important points to remember about the work is the contract permits the contractor to work Monday through Friday. Right now in this wintertime when it's dark at night, generally those work hours are from 7 to 5, although the contract does permit them to work until 9 o'clock at night. Weekend work or holidays and even evenings or nights is by permission only. There are certainly some work activities, it happened in this past week, that really need to happen overnight to minimize the impact to customers, such as the water outage. So as anyone who's been in the downtown in the last week or two have noticed, work did begin on February 5th, right in front of the Champlain Farms Periwinkles area. as well as impacting the Main and Winooski parking lot, closing the lot to be able to start work on the ravine sewer. The next areas of work are going to move down towards Church and Maple Street, and there'll be intersection restrictions at King Street and an intersection closure with Church and Maple while we work on the ravine that connects into our existing system at that point in the city. Again, all of these dates that I'm sharing are approximate and certainly could change based on weather or some of the creative things that we find buried in the city of Burlington. Moving forward past the next couple of weeks, really this is the general order in which the infrastructure will be worked on. So focused on the ravine sewer through this summer and starting on the remainder portions of the sewer work starting this spring, tentative to begin around the Pine Street intersection and moving up towards Church. Similarly, after that concludes the water main replacement work along Main Street, moving from Pine to St. Paul to Church to Winooski, generally going a block-by-block approach. That work is anticipated to start this summer, and then as that work activity starts to conclude, focusing on the underground stormwater pipes in the fall-winter of this year. Following all of that, which is the work that no one ever really sees, it begins the roadway work. And so this is where the pavement, the sidewalk, the landscaping, and really where the terrain of Main Street will start to change. And that work is planned for the spring, fall, summer kind of construction seasons in 25 and 26. So how do you hear more? The QR code in the corner goes to our greatstreetsbtv.com website. We are looking to be able to collect emails for if you're interested in receiving like weekly construction updates, as well as if you are an adjacent property owner to any of the work happening on the project. We do like to be able to send out emails about the notifications, such as the water service shutdowns that Martin mentioned, or if there's any other impacts that we may foresee in and around your property. The city uses a VT alert system to notify customers that are signed up for that for major traffic impacts. We did use one earlier on to do an initial notification about the project, and if we have any other significant changes, you would hear about that over VT alert as well as through our other outlets that we're using. And here is Natalie's contact information. It may be just a little misleading that she's at eivtech.com, but again, this is a consultant that is hired by the city of Burlington, and it is the most efficient way for her to send and receive communications about this project. At that point, we would welcome any questions that we might have from those in the room or those on the line. Although I think we are competing with the Flynn tonight, so it is a sparse attendance. If you are online and do wish to speak, I think you can raise your hand and you'd be given permission to speak. And if not, I think we can conclude our presentation, and don't know that we have anything else. So.
Reach out to us after.
I think we're good. Thank you.
Right.